And ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
With the new formation of what we're doing with this Twilight Zone series, five blocks of 10 episodes each, probably 2 in the new calendar year, but things always change. I was listening to an episode the other day, and we were talking about something. It wasn't with you, it was with Will, I think it was. And we're talking about what's coming on next. I was like, that's completely untrue. And that is a lie. I'm just lying. I didn't know it then, but I know it now. Yes, Twilight Zone. And we're rounding out this 10. We didn't rank People Are Alike all over, Jay.
Yeah, I realized as we ended.
Let's do that now.
Yes.
People Are Alike all over. Walking Distance, It's a Good Life. On Thursday We Leave for Home. Time Enough at Last. The Masks. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. Where Is Everybody? Long Live Walter Jameson. In Praise of Pip. I would probably either put it as new number 8 or new number 7. I think I prefer Where Is Everybody? Pilot episode is trapped, is alone in the place, and then he realizes. Sorry. Oh, you're thinking.
It's the very first episode.
Yeah.
I'd say 7. Oh, I don't know. They're similar.
They are very similar in concept.
Okay.
Go on. What do you think? I'm happy with either way, really.
I think the twist pushes it over for me.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I was leaning the same way, really. Just wanted to, okay. So we're going to do new number 7 of People Are Alike all over, and we've got a whole new episode. People Are Alike everywhere. There we go. We've got a new episode now, and we won't forget to rank it because we will have to wait. Our humble listeners will have to wait an entire year to find out if we forget. Less than a year, little less than a year. Anyway, Perchance to Dream, the simple story of a horny man having a wet dream. Being afraid that he will
die. A way to describe it.
Opening narration, 12 o'clock noon, an ordinary scene, an ordinary city. Lunchtime, there are thousands of ordinary people. To most of them, this hour will be a rest, a pleasant break in a day's routine. To most, but not all. To Edward Hall, time is an enemy, and the hour to come is a matter of life or death. Great rhyming there. To most, but not all. To Edward Hall.
Really feeling the Shakespeare roots in the title.
Well, yes. I've never been a Shakespeare fan. Yes, I've got this here. Therein lies the rub. To sleep, the chance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. Twilight Zone, in the Twilight Zone. Have you ever watched the Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come?
No.
It's not good.
Okay. I won't add it to the list.
Yeah, don't watch it.
I did watch Good Will Hunting, though, recently.
Great movie.
It was really good.
Very good movie.
Right.
So this is written by Charles Beaumont, who... Have we had a Charles Beaumont yet? I think we have. Anyway, we're doing everything out of order. So, Charles Beaumont, wonderful writer who wrote many Twilight Zones, and then, unfortunately, in his later years, succumbed to dementia, and so had to have a ghost writer who would finish the scripts from his original stories in some cases, and all that sort of thing. But here, he's fully no, it's not that. A word.
He's got something. Yeah.
Yes, at this time he's great, and this is directed by Robert Florey. I should always look these things up beforehand, but I never do. Did he direct another episode? Let's find out now. He directed lots of episodes. He directed 3. He directed The Fever, which is the one with the gambling, the walking, talking, one-armed bandit gambling machine. That's great. And The Long Morrow, which I do believe will open our second series of episodes.
Nice.
Great episode, great. No, that's a lie. The next one will be Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? But after that is The Long Morrow. To say the adjective I would use to describe it could be a spoiler, so I won't. This is the story of a man who comes into I put here the sweaty and distressed Richard Conte. Who
Very sweaty.
Very sweaty, very distressed, very good performance. And comes into John Larcher's therapist's office, who we last saw as Anthony Freeman's
the most
dad.
caring doctor I've ever seen.
Such a lovely man. I think it's because he's got a son at home that he's afraid of. So he has to constantly, oh, don't worry. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah. I mean, towards the last few minutes, his interaction with the nurse, which we'll get to. We'll get there. But
I don't think I laugh as much as any comedy as the sudden jump out of the window and that horribly awkward fade to him sat bored on his chair. I think that is in an episode that is so well directed and full of so many great moments. That is one of the worst edits I've seen in a while. Yeah, he's hurtling himself out the window, and it's a great effect and it's a great stunt, and they've got a really good window smash. And then, oh hi, Mrs. Thompson. Yeah.
This was my second time seeing it, and I'd forgotten about what happened immediately after he jumped. Like, I remembered, but then I was also like, I didn't remember the transition to him just sitting there being bored.
Just sitting there being bored. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. So let's start as we begin. Yeah. So we see the secretary from behind, who's got this beautiful little black bob, which we'll get to in a moment. But she says, "We've been expecting you, Mr. Hall." And then he goes in, and we hear this story that basically he's got a serious heart issue, and that he's been having this ongoing dream where he's seduced by a cat lady, or a lady, dressed like a cat, and he's seduced by this incredibly, beautiful, luring woman played by Suzanne Lloyd, named Maya, and she basically says, "You're in a dream. You can do whatever you want. Don't worry about your heart, and come on this roller coaster, and things will be wonderful." And the last time he woke up, he was just about to die in the dream. And so he has been up for a series of days, terribly afraid that the next time he falls asleep, he will immediately die. And the final twist in the tale is whether it's truly supernatural or whether it is just his own psychosis further ruining his heart. He does fall asleep and he does immediately die. However, the best element of the episode is these extended dream sequences with Suzanne Lloyd as this sexual being, and Richard Conte as this sweaty, feverish man. And they're wonderfully shot and wonderfully dreamy and wonderfully spooky. And
it's fantastic.
Very effective. What's your relationship with this? You said this was the second time. So is this one you've liked before? Is this one you've liked again?
I remember when I first saw it a while ago. It was probably over 2 years now. It was like one of my favorite ones that I'd seen. I'm a big David Lynch guy.
Yes.
And then Dreams, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And I love the cinematography. The dream sequence, I think, is just like incredibly done for the 50s, wasn't it?
This was 59, the 27th.
Yeah,
the 27th of November.
For 1959. I mean, obviously, if you're watching it now, you can tell, like, obviously, some things are kind of obscured to make it look better on the on the corners, which is with that dreamy lens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. In this case, it all works to the episode's advantage because it all works to that dream logic. I'm perfectly fine with them just hiring that, Eddie Marr as the barker, and there's nobody else in the carnival, and we just see the cat lady stand. And obviously it wasn't an artistic choice at all to have the roller coaster be superimposed and all that sort of thing. That wasn't an artistic choice, but it does add this dreamy, frightening layer to it that works so well.
Yeah, I love when people shoot like dream sequences and there's like mistakes and things that seem kind of odd, like in Mulholland Drive when they're eating at the diner and then all the food's gone, and then when they leave, it cuts back and all the food's there again.
I think there's a lot of times, I think you know what it is, it's when it's films that have a dream twist, and so many times people use that as such a bullshit excuse of like, well it was all a dream, so that's why that's why the entire plot didn't make any sense. So it's like, okay, you're stretching it a bit farther. I think the biggest strength for me is the performances of this time around, as well as that brilliant George T. Clemens cinematography. Richard Conte is just so haggard, and you can completely believe that he hasn't been asleep in days, and God knows what he's been doing to keep himself up. I'm sure if it was a more modern script, they'd talk about pills. He talks a little bit about pills, but I can really see something getting a bit more explicit with what he's taking to keep himself up, and I've got to stay up, I've got to keep walking.
He's the tiredest man in the world.
Yeah. Well, how long have you stayed up for at a time? I'm trying to think what my longest day has been. It was on the cruise, because like you're working till 12, and then sometimes you're out with friends until 4 or whatever, and then sometimes you might have an early shift. So I think I did a very, very long day, but I've never done an all day, or I've never done 24 hours. I don't think.
I don't know. I mean, probably it's maybe 20 hours. And then I just passed out.
Yeah. And so yes, I can understand Mr. Conte's fatigue.
I wonder how it would be written today with all the like urban myths about like sleep paralysis. Like this like what's the one? The sleep experiment thing.
What's that? Tell me that.
Where there's that thing where they had like an experiment where they just kept people awake, and then they started like going crazy and seeing things.
Well, you would do, wouldn't you? And then
wait, what's the?
I don't know. Give it a Google. I know the movie Before I Wake, starring little Jacob Tremblay, directed by Mike Flanagan.
I love Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan's great. The initial story about this painting, and if you look long enough at the painting, if you keep looking at the painting, then eventually it'll change. And that from the off sort of sets this sensibility of, is this all fake? Is this a dream? Is he just choosing to see it? Is that what this is? Is he choosing purposefully to see a vision, because it's for as much as it is a nightmare, it's also incredibly sexy, and it's also this fantastical element to it. Suzanne Lloyd is this incredibly attractive woman. I found an interview with Suzanne Lloyd, which I've got some gems from, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Maya the cat lady is this entrancing, but again, dangerous, murderous, and otherworldly.
Very sinister laugh.
Sinister laugh, sinister. She's a cat lady. She's not just sexy woman. She is a she's creaturesque. She's monstrous in a way, and it is that allure that gives the episode its fear and wonderful exoticism.
I did find it funny when he described how she had cat's eyes, and then the soundtrack immediately went.
I like the bit where they talk together, and he's going, "No, but you're a dream." And lots of times in this sort of thing, he goes, "No, I'm real," and he goes, "I know that." And that again sets you on a different path of, she knows she's a dream, and so that supernatural element of, I know I'm a dream, and I'm a dream in you. I'm a figment of your imagination who has the explicit purpose to kill you, and that's even more frightening. Again, very erotic. Take me in there, Edward. It's dark inside. It's dark and soft. And then the wonderful Richard Conte. How can I argue with a dream? Which was very Pacino. I don't know why I said it Pacino-esque because I felt a Pacino coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come to, again, the twist. He wakes up. He stops telling his dream.
Yeah.
And then he walks out into the secretary's office. And it's Maya. Now, what do you think? What do you think of this? Do you think it's a bit too cute? Do you think it? Because I know that, again, we're getting now into the thing of what is dream logic, what is supernatural, what is real in the first place. But the fact that Maya, I remember it wrongly, because I then think every time when John Larch goes, Mrs. Thompson, can you come in here, please? I always think it's going to be some blonde woman or something, but it is Maya.
Mm-hmm.
It is Susan Lloyd.
I think it's a good choice, because I think if you interpret it as him, like if you interpret it as he's had this dream before, but maybe the woman had a different face, and it's just because he saw the woman as he walked in, or and then when he dreamed in the office, it was her, and then I feel like you can interpret it in a few ways, really.
It's whatever you want it to be. Just that wonderful roller coaster. I mean, Maya's evil laugh and the almost constant inclining, and the hold on, Edward, and of course, as we've already talked about, him absolutely running that great sudden suicide, jumping out the window, and that shooting down shot into the sidewalk. And then that horribly awkward fade to him just sat bored. And, the secretary is really Maya. And then that bitter, cruel, at least he died peacefully. And obviously it's the furthest. What is it? What was the name of the Black Mirror episode that Dan Trachtenberg directed, where it was a game?
Oh, where it was a game?
And it's like he only actually died in 2 seconds, but obviously it was, for us, it was this horrifying 47 minutes. I think it was like the second episode of the first Netflix series, what I like to call the downhill.
Oh yes, the one with the spider,
with Wyatt Russell, with the spider, and that great thing of,
I know which one you mean.
And that great thing of the twist of that, in that he only died in actuality in 2 seconds.
I mean, it's like White Christmas as well.
There's a great Stephen King short story called The Jaunt, and that's another one where it's a future where time travel exists, and it's called The Jaunt and all that sort of thing. And if you're knocked under, if you're under gas, for you it's 2 seconds. It's like waking up. But if you're not under gas, and you're conscious for going through it, it's eternity.
It's also like the drug they use in Dread.
Dread. Good. I like Dread. Anyway, I found this interview with Suzanne Lloyd. She described it as an absolute dream come true working on the Twilight Zone. So she really, she said they want you to be in a Twilight Zone, and she agreed straight away before reading the script. And the first thing that she was talking about in this interview was just elaborating the reputation of the Twilight Zone at that time, the reputation of Serling's writing, the reputation not just of Serling, but of the cinematography and the cast and the crew and the actors that get brought in. It really was, even at these earliest stages, the show to be on. And I mean, it's good to hear that, because a lot of the writing at the time, all you hear about is just the commercial bomb that it was, and and it was constant struggling for him. But it's nice to hear these interviews of the actors at the time, just saying, no, actually it was a dream come true, and it was a wonderful show to be on.
Especially, what is this, like 9 episodes in?
It's not long at all. This is just word of mouth. So she said that Serling walked up to her one day and said Serling was very quiet, very unassuming. And she just said that, thank you, this is very special to me. And meeting you is the icing on the cake. And he thanked me. So again, Suzanne Lloyd seems to be a very nice woman. So obviously 1959, you can't just tape it and record it and all that sort of thing. So she had to see it that night. And she was scheduled to be on a blind date with a man. Well, it wasn't exactly a blind date, but it was a stranger who had hit her up. And so she said, can we please watch this before we go on the date? Because I won't be able to watch it. They watched the whole thing, and he said to her, I had no idea you were that kind of a woman, and I would like to cancel the date. So,
okay.
Poor Suzanne Lloyd.
Yeah, I mean, would you want to show an episode where you are a nightmare?
It's not like you can watch it forever, is it? She had to watch it there in 1959. She didn't even know. I mean, they weren't even in syndication yet. They maybe would get a repeat in the summer. And then she says that she gets messages on her website all the time and emails. And she said she got an email from an MIT professor the other day saying about how I'm watching it again. I was like, okay. They say a dream. Okay. Yes, okay. They say a dream takes only a second or so. And yet in that a second, a man can live a lifetime. He can suffer and die. And who's to say which is the greater reality? The one we know or the one in dreams? Between heaven, the sky, the earth, in the twilight zone. I had a terrible dream. I was on, obviously I've been at sea and all that sort of thing. But I had a horrible, horrible lucid dream. And I woke up, and I haven't had one in so long. And I woke up in a sweat, I had a panic attack. I just couldn't believe. And it was a nap as well. It wasn't, I was waking up in the middle of the morning. It was just a lucid nap. And then I had to go to work and have my dinner. And it just so unnerved me and unsettled me. And I hadn't had one in so long. And and again, I've been watching a little bit. I've been watching some Lynch again. I rewatched Mulholland Drive again the other day, and so it was a very nice, weird context to return to Perchance to Dream, and what a pleasure it was to do it with yourself, Jay Reeve. Yes. Let's rank Perchance to Dream. So currently we have at number one, Walking Distance. Number two, It's a Good Life. On Thursday, We Leave for Home. Time Enough at Last. The Masks. Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. People Are Alike All Over. Where Is Everybody? Long Live Walter Jameson. And In Praise of Pip. Where do we want to put Perchance to Dream? I'm happy. I think definitely not cracking the top four.
No.
Do we prefer The Masks?
I think I prefer The Masks.
I prefer The Masks, and I do prefer Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
Yeah, I think
7.
Is that 7th? Yeah.
7 works for me. Yeah, 7's a good spot. I think, 7.
Yeah.
Lock that in, which gives us our first 10J. That locks us in there. Our first ranked 10 episodes, and we've got 10 coming up. You know what? We can, whenever they come out, that may change, but we can reveal what the next 10 are going to be. I've got those here. Next 10, which will be coming out currently, are scheduled to come out in March to May next year. Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? The Long Morrow, The Silence, Third from the Sun, The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, Static, A Stop at Willoughby, Nick of Time, To Serve Man, and The Invaders. There are a lot of big ticket episodes there.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then I always think, oh, have I put all the good ones in one chunk? And then I look at what we've got left and I go, oh no, we have so many other excellent ones to look at as well. Yes. So lots and lots to look forward to. Excellent stuff. Jay, the pleasure was all mine.
Thank you.